Hello everybody, my name is Christopher Rez and I'm going to be your host for Today in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today I want to go over some new cards that came out. We got a lot of releases last night brought to us by the Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization. So please check out the link in the description, check out their site. They have all this information there. You can check it out yourself, see all the different things, and kind of, float around the site. There are a lot of interesting articles, a lot of good reads up on there. So definitely check that out. But for right now, I'm going to go over some of the new cards that got released, kind of give you my take and my opinion, and hopefully you guys enjoy this so that you can kind of, make decisions yourself. So here we go. We're going to start with our first rank 0 monster, which is Hope the King of the Future, rank 0, light warrior type XYZ effect monster, has 0 attack, 0 defense, and it requires 2 non-number XYZ monsters with the same rank to make it. So you basically overlay it on top of 2 XYZ monsters of the same rank. First effect, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Any battle damage inflicted to either player for a battle involving this card becomes 0. So self-preservation thing can't be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage, so kind of just like, nullified attack. At the end of the damage step in which this card battles an opponent's monster, you gain control of that opponent's monster until the end of the battle phase. So you crash it, take their monster, attack their monster. There's a lot of game-winning implications with that. So that would be something interesting. Third effect, if this card on the field would be destroyed, you can attach 1 XYZ material from this card instead. So thoughts on this card? Very interesting, game-winning. Not really capable of being removed that easily, but cards like Compulse, cards like Phoenix Wing Windblast, which a lot of people are playing, are stuff to consider. So not 100%, game-winning card, but capable, very capable, very powerful card to consider moving forward. So, imagine safe zoning this thing, it would be pretty ridiculous, because at that point, it would be unstoppable. So, next we have Ghost Trick no Detenshi. It is a Ghost Trick rank 4 monster, which they did not have before. Capable of being made with 2 level 4 monsters. So these are all translated. These could easily change. It could change to 2 level 4 Ghost Tricks if we do get level 4 Ghost Tricks. But at this point, it's 2 level 4 monsters. You can also XYZ summon this card by overlaying it on top of a Ghost Trick monster. So Gaia Charger type of thing. Also Ptolemy M7 type of thing. Its effect is the following: when this card has 10 XYZ materials attached to it, you win the duel. So an alternate win condition for them, kind of interesting. 10 materials is a lot though. 10 materials, that's not necessarily going to happen that easily. And capable of removing this card, yes, possible. 2000 attack is not what it used to be. 25 defense, however, kind of good, kind of decent if you can kind of keep it on the field. So it also has 2 other effects. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material and add 1 Ghost Trick spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So similar to Ophion, you can add a Vanish, you can add Scare, you can add Field Spell, any spell or trap. So I think maybe Vanish might be the card to add, because then you can protect it, etc. Second effect, once per turn, you can attach 1 Ghost Trick card in your hand to this card as an XYZ material. So capable of building upon the win condition if you want. I'm not necessarily sure how in competitive play you would want to build the win condition. I don't know if that's necessarily how it will work, but overall I think this card just being, Ghost Trick, having 2000 attack, 2500 defense, very, very solid, because they did not have that before, and it gives them an alternate card that they can use with all the support the deck has already. So next we have Gaga Samurai. It's a rank 4 Earth Warrior type monster that is also an XYZ and has an effect. So Gaga Samurai, Gaga, still building upon the Zexal archetype, so we're not done yet. I know we're in Arc V essentially, so we're still going back to the Zexal era. Requires 2 level 4 monsters. First effect, once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, target 1 Gaga monster you control. During this turn, that monster can make a second attack during each battle phase. At this point, it looks like you can use it on itself, so 19 beat stick that can attack twice, kind of cool. I'm using it on another Gaga monster, you allow them to attack twice as well. Second effect, when another monster is targeted for an attack, you can change this card's defense position and then change the attack target to this card, then proceed to damage calculation. So essentially, if they attack one of your monsters, you can use it to, you can detach a material, switch it to defense, and then they're forced to attack it. It has 1600 defense, so it'll probably most likely go down. But the fact of the matter is, you can basically redirect their attack target, which is kind of cool. Kind of think of it as like a real samurai, because, like, you know, samurai are very offensive, so you have like the double attacks, and then when they come to attack you, it's going to protect one of your monsters. Like, very, very cool. Very awesome type of dynamic to keep it, like, you know, how real samurai kind of works. Next, we have some support for the new archetype we're going to be getting, which is DDD, which at this point I believe it stands for Different Dimension Demon. So we will be seeing how that plays out, but this is going to be Leonidas, the Rebellious Lord. It is a level 7 dark fiend type pendulum effect monster. So it is a pendulum monster. It has a scale of 3, meaning if you guys are very aware of what pendulums do, if you don't know, essentially a scale of 3 allows it to essentially, you know, start the pendulum at level 3, and you can put like a level 7 or a level 6, and then you can special summon monsters between level 3 and level 7 or 6, that type of a thing. So moving forward, it has a pendulum effect when it is in the pendulum zone. When you take damage due to a card effect, you can destroy this card. For the remainder of this turn, effects that inflict damage become effects that gain life points. So anti-burn, any type of, you know, any type of chain burn, stuff like that, you can destroy it and basically you gain the life points. So it nullifies any type of, you know, effect damage being done. Its monster effect is when you take damage due to a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then gain life points equal to the amount of damage you took. So that's actually very, very interesting as well. And like I mentioned before, you know, anti-burn, very cool card, very awesome thing to consider, especially if you're playing pendulums. Like, this is a very, very interesting card. Just being capable of drop, like, this is kind of like reverse Gore's, like the effect damage of Gore's, you know, but you don't, it doesn't say you don't have to control any cards. So very cool card. It has 2600 attack and 1200 defense. I should have probably mentioned that, but you know, a level 7 dark type, 2600 attack monster that you can drop when you take effect damage. Very, very interesting. While this card is in the monster card zone, damage inflicted by card effects becomes 0. So anti-burn, like, you're not getting, like, no burn is coming through. So this card is basically going to be a possible side choice if a lot of people try running burn. Next we have Constellar support, continuous spell card, unconfirmed effect, meaning it could change, but at this point this is how we know it to be. First effect, the effect of Constellar Tempest can only be used once per duel, so consider that once per duel. So clearly we're heading into a really broken effect here. During your end phase, you can target 2 Constellar XYZ monsters that have XYZ materials attached. Attach all XYZ materials from those 2 XYZ material monsters. If you do, have your opponent's life points. That is kind of, I mean, that's kind of good, but just blowing all your materials just to burn your opponent, I don't know if that's necessarily competitive. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily smart, because that is a cost, so it's not like you can chain their effects. So thinking about it might not be that great, but having your opponent's life points in the right situation could win you a game. So next we're going to go with the second ability, which is you can target 1 Constellar XYZ monster you control and 1 Constellar monster in your graveyard. Attach the second target to the first target as an XYZ material. So for example, if you have Ptolemy on top of if you have Ptolemy on field, basically you target a Constellar monster, and then you re-overlay the material. Very, very interesting effect. I feel like that would be more applicable, like that would make more sense in comparison to the other one. So that actually might be the real ticket to the card, and then you just have the other effect just as something you can just, if you feel like you just blow off like half their life points. Next we have Saber Reflect. This is X Saber support. There's a quick play spell card. Effect is unconfirmed, but this is how we know it to be based off of what we can decipher from the card. You can activate Saber Reflect once per turn. If you control an X Saber monster and you take damage by battle or by card effect, gain life points equal to the amount of damage you took, and then re-inflict the life points to your opponent. And then you can add one X-Saber spell or trap card or a Gotham's card from your deck to your hand. So that is pretty good. Like, if you take any damage, you basically reflect it to your opponent, and then you add a card. Like, that can end games, that can finish off your opponent. Like, that's an extra burn, essentially. So that is a very cool card, and it's quick play, meaning like you can crash in your opponent and then chain it, burn yourself, add a card. Like, there's so many ways you can utilize that. Next, we have support for Gem Knights. Absorb Fusion, which is a normal spell card. Effect is unconfirmed. You can activate Absorb Fusion once per turn. You cannot special summon during the turn you activate this card. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this card, except for Gem Knight monsters. So consider that. I mean, Gem Knights have the ability to just summon over and over, like, themselves. So that's something that's not necessarily a hindrance on what this deck is capable of doing. But the effect is following. Add one Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand. Then you can use the following effect. Fusion summon one Gem Knight fusion monster from your extra deck, banishing the materials from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. So kind of like a Miracle Fusion-esque type of thing. Just capable of, re-spamming your field. You can basically... This deck just has a rinse and replace, like Laluli, like so many different things you can use to just over fusion, and then this just adds one extra thing to it. So kind of cool, kind of interesting card, kind of accelerates their ability to OTK. Next we have a different dimension support card, which also goes with the DDD archetype, which is a normal trap called DD Recruit. The effect is unconfirmed, meaning it can change. The effect it has two effects. First effect is this card can only be activated once per turn. If your opponent controls more monsters than you can add a number of DD cards from your graveyard to your hand equal to the difference. So if your opponent controls 2 monsters, activate, add 2 cards. Like, it's kind of good, but to get maximum efficiency, you have to be in a losing position. So recovery card, kind of good, but not necessarily that great. Maybe in the archetype itself it'll be very good, so we will see moving forward. One card always makes a difference in every game, so we will see. I think it's pretty good, considering there is a capability of you going like plus maximum. If your opponent has 4 monsters and you survive the turn, like you go +3, like that's pretty crazy. Next we have cards from another pack, which is going to be a special pack for Japan. It is called Raging Masters. These are going to be DD support cards for the DDD archetype. Raging Masters is basically going to be a promo pack. It's going to be featuring one of the villains from Arc V. First card we have here is DD Night Howling. It is a level 3 Dark Fiend type tuner effect monster. So a lot of stuff in that. It has 300 attack, 600 defense. When this card is normal summon, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard, special summon that monster. Its attack and defense becomes 0. If that monster is destroyed, you take 1000 damage. For the rest of the turn, after you've activated this effect, you cannot special summon monster expert fiend type monsters. So it has somewhat of a restriction. It's kind of like Black Salvo. And then if you special summon a DD monster and you get like Torrential, you take 1000 damage. Taking 1000 damage is part of this deck. It's part of like the evil idea in Yugioh, I think, as well. Because most decks that require you to pay are usually like dark, or like they have kind of a backdrop, like an evil backdrop to it, because you're basically paying your own life points to gain advantage. And like it's like draining your life to win the game. So that's kind of the idea. That's kind of like one of those dark things in Yu-Gi-Oh to consider, but kind of a cool card. Very awesome support, level 3. So basically, summon it, special summon a monster. You can make level 7 fusion monster, or you can just overlay into like a Fiend Exceed. You basically target another Night Howling and special summon it. So that's kind of cool. Next we have DD Lilith. It's a level 4 Dark Fiend type effect monster. Has 100 attack, 2100 defense. You can only use the effect of DD Lilith once per turn, so that hindrance is going to be there as well. If this card is normal or special summon, you can activate one of the following effects. Target one DD monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So when it's special summoned or normal summon, you basically get a +1 to your hand, or add one face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. So you can basically replenish your Pendulum scale if you need to. Kind of a cool card, just, you know, summon +1. That's always a great thing. Next we have Covenant with the Hellgate, which will not make it past translation. That's gonna be something else. Probably like Deal with the Darkness or something. I don't know. That'll probably be like the English. But it's a continuous spell card. You can use the effect of Covenant and Hellgate once per turn. First effect, during your main phase, you can add one DD monster from your deck to your hand. So it's essentially a surging card. During your standby phase, you take 1000 damage. Like I said, you pay your own life to gain advantage. That's kind of the idea here. Next we have Covenant with the Swamp King. It is a continuous spell card. You can only use the effect of Covenant with the Swamp King once per turn. Effect is the following. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one Fiend type fusion monster from your extra deck by using monsters from your hand. Your side of the field is fusing materials. If you are fusion summoning a DD fusion monster, you can also banish the materials from your graveyard. So Miracle Fusion for the DD archetype. During your standby phase, you take 1000 damage. So this is a continuous spell card capable of being reused over and over, and once per turn. If they do, it looks like we're going to be getting a fusion aspect to the DD deck, so consider that as well. Very awesome. Covenant with the Swamp King kind of brings back King of the Swamp as well. Kind of interesting card. Also, you're taking that damage, like I mentioned. You know, you pay the 1000 damage. That's something to consider always. Next, we're moving out of the DD archetype. Or actually, no, we have one more card for the DD archetype. It's DD Cerebrus, level 4 Dark Fiend Pendulum effect monster. So it does have a Pendulum scale. It has 1800 attack, 600 defense, which is questionable because it might be a little bit more. Pendulum scales are, it has a Pendulum scale of 6. So if you look at that Leonidas card I mentioned earlier, it has 3, and then we have this, which is 6. So from 3 to 6, you can special summon monsters that are level 4 or 5 once per turn. That's how Pendulum summoning works. Effect number 1, once per turn, you can target one DD monster you control. That monster's level is now 4, and it gains 400 attack and defense. Kind of a cool effect, kind of interesting. Just basically makes anything level 4 good with that one, with the level 3 tuner Night Howling. You can basically make it level 4, which helps for synchro summoning into a level 8 Fiend monster. That's actually its effect while it's in Pendulum Zone. Its actual monster effect is the following. When this card is Pendulum summoned, if you control a DD monster other than DD Cerebrus, you can target one continuous spell card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. So capable of replenishing cards that you burn, cards that have been removed from the field. Very, very interesting card all around. Helps out the archetype, looks like. So might be something to consider. Might be a deck that could be topping. Kind of need to get the fusion first though, so we can determine whether or not that aspect of the deck will be played. But it looks like, you know, paying 1000 damage is going to be a thing, and also their ability to just replenish cards, replenish advantage is there. So there is a lot of capability there. Last card I want to go over, which this has been a long episode, but the last card I want to go over is number 23, Lancelot, Ghost Knight of the Underworld. I love this card. It is a rank 8 dark zombie type XYZ effect monster. Has 2000 attack, 1500 defense. Requires 2 level 8 monsters. So we have a generic rank 8 monster, another one other than, you know, Felgrand and Heliopolis. So it has several effects. First effect, this card can attack directly if it has an XYZ material. So you can attack direct. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So basically you can attack direct, inflict damage, destroy a monster. So basically +1 for attacking directly. Third effect, once per turn when a monster's effect or Spell or Trap card is activated, you can detach one XYZ material from this card, negate the activation. So, I mean, there's so much you can do there. It's very broken. Tactiract, they activate a card, detach material, and negate it, then destroy their monster. Like, it makes it very difficult for your opponent when you summon this card, and you can finish off your opponent if they have less than 2,000 life points or 2,000. So, a lot of things to consider, a lot of cards I went over. I'm actually kind of just out of it at this point, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed all this news. Check out the organization site, and see you guys later.